hi there. Just hi there. It's been a while since I've streamed, recorded, done anything. So that's entertaining. But how y'all doing? I hope you're all good. I hope you're all grand. I hope you're all okay in the slightest. We have just won 2-0 against FC Union. Also, you can clearly hear the fan going on. It is quite warm, so get over it. But overall, I want to talk about the game, and obviously the game itself was pretty decent. I don't want to say good, I don't want to say bad, just honestly just pretty decent. We could have most certainly done much better, but at the end of the day I thought like overall we did what we had to. Now in my Bundesliga's back video I kind of said that like I fully expect us to like have one good half and then have one bad half. That didn't really happen. It was more so that we had one mediocre half and one sort of good half. So it wasn't like quite, you know, an actual good half, but it is what it is. You know, with games like these you kind of expect them to kind of go all over the place, and that's exactly what happened today. We were kind of all over the place. You know, we didn't really play outstanding, we didn't play bad, we just played mediocre, and I feel like that's kind of to be expected for us to play mediocre when quite frankly we haven't played football. We've got no rhythm, we've got no, for lack of better word, style. Now obviously in my opinion, I'm talking about like who the worst players were. I think we had a lot of bad players, such as I thought Boateng had a really bad evening. I also thought Thiago, I thought the midfield in general was pretty poor. Kimmich, I thought it had a much better second half, but like in general I thought our midfield was pretty poor. I also feel like we should have done a lot more substitutions as well. We had 5 substitutions available and we only did 2. You know, Croissant's coming on. I can't say his name. I always say it sounds like I'm saying croissants, but Croissant's coming on in the second half. Who else came on? Coleman coming on, and I felt like we should have had a lot more substitution. You know, we have a lot of games coming up and a lot of players that don't have that match fitness. So personally, I thought we should have definitely had a lot more players come in, get their match fitness, and then kind of like grow into the game. That didn't really happen in this. But it is what it is. You know, overall the 0-2. Not a bad result, obviously a good result, 3 points at the end of the day, and against a team, in a situation that not many players will have been familiar with. So I can't complain all too much, but at the end of the day, we should have done better. We should have done better from a performance standpoint, maybe not from a result standpoint, but most certainly from a performance standpoint. Because from a performance standpoint, we will obviously have a lot more challenging games coming up, and we really should slowly start gearing up to the kind of pace where like we kind of have to perform against these other teams. Wasn't the case today. Most likely won't be the case next game, but I'm at least hoping for the next game to have at least one good half. That's always my thing, or just one good half. If you've been following me for a while, during friendlies, during preseason, I always say just give me one good half, and obviously it wasn't the case today. We had about 20 minutes of good play, 20 minutes of very composed, controlled play, but not very much good, just controlled and composed. And then we had about 20 minutes of like actual good play. I think the last 20 minutes are definitely, we definitely increased the tempo, we definitely looked much more threatening, and overall we definitely looked like a much better side. But at the end of the day, it just wasn't good enough. It's 20 minutes, 20 minutes of out of 90. That's not really good enough. That's not good enough at all. But yeah, that's just my thoughts so on the game. And obviously a lot of people will say, oh yeah, it's the first game back, it's fine, it's fine, the way we played, it's absolutely fine. A lot of other people will be like, no, we should have done much better. The players, they've had time to practice, they've had time to get better, and quite frankly they should be doing much better. I'm of the camp of like, yeah, we didn't do that good, but yeah, we can most certainly do better. We weren't absolutely terrible. There was a fear in my mind that we could have been a lot worse. That wasn't the case. So we were just bad or mediocre. I wouldn't quite go down to say bad, just mediocre. So I'm okay with them mediocre. How many subs did we use? We used 2 from my memory. We switched out Goretzka for Coman and Croissants for Gnabry. I think that those were the 2 from what I can recall. But yeah, as I said, like if I were to give like the players a rating, I think Neuer, I mean, there's nothing much to really rate. The few times that we were being threatened, he did look rather solid. I thought he looked actually rather sharp now that I think about it, because like he tipped the ball over when he a less experienced keeper would have tried to catch it. He always like tried to make us go forward. So Perisic came on right at the end of the game. Yeah, I totally forgot about him. But like I thought Neuer had an overall good game. Pavard, I mean, he scored a goal, and he basically got us that corner. So I thought that was, you can't fault him for that, but I didn't think he had that great of a game besides those two moments: the goal, which is massive, and the moment to get the goal, to get the corner, to get the goal. So I thought, okay, you know what? I'm not gonna talk too much. I'm not gonna talk too negatively about his performance. Then Boateng, I thought Boateng was definitely our worst player today by leagues. First half, I was honestly thinking that that is not good. The way he's playing is not good at all. Second half, he did a little bit better, but it still wasn't good by any stretch of the imagination. I thought Alaba had a good game. Overall, I thought Alaba had a good game, and so did Davis. I thought Davis was probably, over the two halves, our best player. I think actually it's quite confident. I'm actually quite confident in saying that he's probably our best player over the two halves. Then I thought the midfield as a whole, I thought was poor. The midfield as a whole, I thought was poor, but they did have their moments, which is kind of odd to say. I thought they were poor as a whole, but they did have their moments. One, obviously, Goretzka winning us the penalty. That's a huge moment, but I didn't think he played good besides that moment. Kimmich, I thought, had an atrocious first half, but much better in the second half. Then Thiago had like a hot and cold gameplay, hot and cold game, where like at times he looked like, oh yeah, I'm Thiago, I'm back to my best, and at times he looked like, I don't know how to pass. So Thiago had a very hot and cold game, and then our front three, I thought Gnabry a little bit too selfish, honestly. That was my issue with him. Lewandowski obviously scored, terrible penalty, but he scored, so I can't complain about that. And then you have Müller, who I thought first half was pretty poor, and second half was probably our best player in that second half. So massive props to Müller. Great game, great second half, and the way he played in the second half, I'm hoping he's going to continue playing like that in like the future games, because the second half he was absolutely great. Absolutely great. Second half, I looked at him in the second half and I was like, yeah, this is exactly how I want him to play. This is exactly how I want Thomas Müller to play, and it was just brilliant in the second half. Let's see what iNexel writes. He writes, I thought the same about Boateng. However, the Fox 78 was saying his performance was one of the best from it. Yeah, no, I massively disagree with that. He was caught off guard into he sliced the ball a few times as well in the first half and even in the second half, but obviously Neuer was positioned quite well, so that was that's a massive bonus for him. But yeah, that's my post-match reaction. There will be a few more videos about this game coming in the next few hours or so. I just have to. The reason why I did this live is because I don't have the time to upload it, because I'm currently cooking. So like I had like 10 minutes right now, and I was like, okay, I've got 10 minutes. I can now quickly talk about the game for 10 minutes. I don't have to worry about uploading it. It'll be live. So I'm gonna go back to my food and hope it's not burnt, like it usually always is. I haven't actually been in this room in like a long time, funnily enough, which is probably why you can tell that like that is a mess. That is a mess. You guys can't see the floor, but like my floor is a mess. I haven't been in this room in such a long time. I've been kind of like moving rooms, funny enough, moving rooms. But I might there's still the lighting in the room is also off. Everything is kind of off. So anyway, that's not important. I'll be seeing you all in the next one, everyone. Until then, have a nice day. Peace out and bye.